this is what... Oh, wow. You're a bit spiky.
Do you?
Yeah, look at these things. Gosh, can you go and get someone else? Summer is nearly over in Bristol, but not for everyone, not for my client specifically, as what we are going to install for them is definitely bringing all this positive vibes. This is the spot where a client will have a hot spa. It's insulated, one of those small 4-people hot tub. What we are doing is bringing supply so they can enjoy all that beautiful massaging hot water therapy. The supply actually comes from this shed, and we decided to put a double socket because this is a 13 amp supply that we need for this hot tub. Still 2 meters away for safety, and also it could serve as additional power supply where you are here in the garden and you want to put a radio on, or you'd like to put something else on, so you've got that access to that power. Hot tub supply, an armored cable all the way around in here, right there behind. We're going to tuck it in behind the bushes, all the way around, just down below, through here, around. Let me show you. And we are going to end up over here. That's the incoming supply for the shed, and we're just going to tap into it, hook our supply on from that whisker box. Well, that's what they did. They just laid the cable here. Honestly, could this be better? Yeah, maybe buried. There's that element of like, this is an armored cable. It is okay as it is. There's not much harm you can do to it. That's why we use armored. That's not our install. It could be clipped to the post. Maybe there's some work the client might do in the future here. It's just being delivered. SpongeBob.
My identity.
Amazing, okay. Okay, so this is our equipment. Angle drill from Screwfix, because that button on my 18-volt Bosch, it just pops out. It's out of warranty. I sent the machine over to Bosch. They wanted to charge me £98 for a replacement of this button. When I looked at the quotation, actual unit went in for checkup, so there's 1 hour. Someone else, another hour. The actual part is 74 pence. And I'm like, Bosch, is this for real? I'm like, no, send it back. Thank you so much. I am going to repair it myself. If this is compromised, there's internal part plastic that connects with the bottom. And when you do that element and hooks up, a replacement is not holding to that part as well as when it is original. So I actually end up now buying... I replaced it myself. That was about a year ago, and it's still popping out. It keeps popping out all the time. The forecast for today is absolutely crazy, because it actually has been forecasted to rain. We only have about 2 hours of forecast that it's not going to rain, so we need to make the most of it. Funny thing is with SWA, you really have to be careful about how you measure, because if now this is like 50, 80 meters and so on, and then you end up with these corners. If you're gonna pull to make this nice and neat, then you're obviously needing to make sure that you've got enough on the other end, because if you're pulling that end in, that gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So always go more than you need with SWA. You can extend that cable, but trust me, it is not easy to extend the armor cable.
One eternity later.
And also quite important, the draining port right there. It's called earthing nut. These have a few purposes. So actually these little teeth here, they're quite sharp, and their role is actually, if you've got metal and it's painted white, usually the fuse boards are, so the purpose of that is to actually eat into that paint and actually go into a bare metal to have a good conductivity. But actually on that side we don't need to use that. Oh my god, how many times I've forgotten to do that. So we need to cut the butt and put this that way around. Firstly, you put it on it, then you see a little indent. If it's a smaller gland, then you can use your side cutters to do that. And then flip it. That's it. It needs to be nice and snug. It needs to go in a nice straight ring pattern. In a twist motion. Cool. It's relatively not cold. If this would be winter, I would not be able to pull it so easily. Looks like beautifully packaged in a plastic container. This may be a client's treasure, so we are safely going to put it here on the bench to make sure it can be retrieved safely. So what we have is, we've got this socket terminated, got the plastic grommets on. We're just going to leave it like that. So at this point is, well, it's not waterproof, but the rain is not going to do any damage to it. We are going to attach the SWA, make our way all the way backwards and come back for testing. When you hide an SWA cable in the garden, there's a few things you have to consider, like a little risk assessment. How deep do you have to go? Is there any cultivating going on around agricultural equipment that is going to go and actually that would expose our cable to that machinery, heavy machinery? No, it isn't. So it's only some planting, it's only like a mild gardening with something like this. Okay, I've actually pulled the cable at the back here, and now I'm just attaching to the underside. Here we are, and hey, this is what... Oh wow, you're a bit spiky.
Do you?
Yeah, look at these things. Gosh, can you go and get someone else? What am I gonna find here? Please be good. Right, so actually is feed all the way into the back of that. So that's what we will have to do as well. I think my client is making glass. Some glass art like this one. That's pretty good. Oh, they are also using black as the earth. So look, this is all marked nicely. And they use grey as neutral. Cool. I wonder if I can bring my cable in through the back of that. The grommet is missing. As you screw this in, that will pop up this knockout. What we might have to do is just go back on the other side and screw the box, making sure that the cables do align just like we want them to align. Let's do that. Let's wire this back up as it was. Okay, this is neutral.
One eternity later.
Okay, we're back at the socket, and let's prepare the fly lead. So here I got my cable. Let's loosen the nuts. Okay, lovely. You can always check by hand just to make sure it's all nice and tight. You don't want to use your power tool to the max of its capacity, because it's quite, although it's 12 volt, it can do two things: damage your screw or damage the thread on that connection. And in both cases you will have to go back, redo everything in terms of like terminating the actual gland onto the back box, because it will be damaged. In, and yes. Okay, now we maybe need to open it up again, do testing, functional testing, and complete the paperwork. But that's not everything in here. We're still doing some more dirty work, and this will be additional socket in the living room, and the access will be from the actual landing. So yeah, firstly let's just making sure that this is all working just like as we want. We're actually going to do, in this one test, we are going to do 3 tests at the same time. First one will be the actual voltage, then polarity as well, and then the earth loop impedance. So it's live to earth 237, live to neutral 237, neutral to earth nothing, polarity correct. So the voltage, the polarity, let's actually test. Okay, that's perfect.